Okay, so in today's video, I generated over 60 clips, sort of in the style of an archaeology, Indiana Jones, Tomb Raider adventure type of a movie. There's going to be three characters, and they each have their own different sidekick. So we're just going to test the software again, see what crazy stuff we're going to get, and just try and get some movie ideas and creativity going. So let's look at the scenes. So scene one, they're gonna be waiting on a plane. Then skydiving, just the next natural step. Digging is key. Then there's gonna be a boulder, a mine cart in an underground tunnel. Then we're gonna have a rope bridge. And on top of a temple, there's gonna be something inside a cave. You can comment if you want to. Could you see this as something else? A different genre, different scene order? Who are these people? Any new title ideas? More locations, items, characters? A backstory, maybe? And any ideas for future videos? I can try to make it. Scene 1. 1. I want to encourage you to watch the rest of the video because scene 1 is just blooper. All of it blooper. AI does not seem to know what an airplane is. And beyond that, usually they're standing on air too. So again, there's no way that this thing stays in the air. And the main prompt is just for them to stand and wait. 3. At least usually the hair can be pretty cool. But then she just goes for it and jumps. The wardrobe situation is pretty much the weirdest one there. And that has nothing to do with me. 4. So at least these two are just standing. They're not doing anything too crazy. A little bit of dialogue, so I appreciate that. Something is gonna happen. 5. So clearly they're standing on air, deciding to hold hands at the end there. And that's okay, I guess. And then they just sort of levitate into the thing. 6. So they're also gonna go ahead and just jump. And then most of the clip is not even about them. It's that other thing. That's actually upsetting. Wouldn't that be the worst if you actually had to pay money for that? 7. So this one is really not even photorealistic as far as the character goes. Seems more like a cartoon. Occasionally that happens, but not most of the time. Scene 2. 1. So they finally jumped. The airplane is not supposed to be that close, although there might be a reason for it. They came closer to something that might fly. Otherwise, not realistic very much per se, but it looks okay. 2. So this one actually looks very cool, very cinematic. I like the close-up, the movement. She is attached to something, like a plane, and that is a problem. And also the wolf, it looks like he has two tails and no parachute. 3. Looks more like slow motion here, and there are issues with the tail on the wolf man. 4. I like the expression of the warthog in this one. Kinda looks happy, like he's enjoying it. It's a bit of a smile. 5. So issues with the parachute, obviously I don't have to say much about it. They don't have enough paracords between the two of them. I like the little jacket on the rabbit. 6. So again, he doesn't have a parachute, he's just floating next to her. Also, it's kind of awkward. It's not a correct position. Scene 3. 1. So they're on the ground now, and I requested a golden key, a shovel, and a hoe. They gave me a lot of different kinds of stuff for a key, and not much happens. Very cinematic looking, though. I can't complain about that one. 2. Interesting shovel. The Wolfman looks pretty cool. It is a massive key. It looks more like something for disciplining children. 3. So for this one, they gave me a cartoon again. The key looks more like a key than the previous ones, but there's such a big difference between the other ones and this one. 4. It looks like they're posing for a photo shoot in this one. Pretty cool key, I guess. Good work if that's all the prop department had. The warthog looks like a game ranger. 5. That is a massive hole and a very small shovel. But I like the little conversation. 6. She does look like she's looking at something. So that's interesting, and maybe they should be concerned. They just acquired a bit of gold. 7. The rabbit is quite big in this one. Just in general, looking at the whole picture, the background, the location, the lighting, very cool. Everything on screen just looks very cinematic. 8. And then they gave a little bunny rabbit in the next one. So that just indicates, off of the same prompt, just how different you're gonna get. And the size of the hole in the previous one was colossal. It does feel more like a children's movie when you have the rabbit man. Scene 4, 1. So we want them to run away from a boulder. It's pretty easy to understand. In this one, this is as good as it's gonna get as far as the running goes. And in some ways as far as the boulder goes. Where is their sidekick, the wolfman? I don't know. They didn't give me one. 2. So usually you have this really uncomfortable run, a little bit like some stiff people or maybe old injured people, and the boulders in front of them. So, oops, 3. So here they were just standing and then the boulder just flies by. So either they had really good timing or they just got lucky. 4. So this boulder just keeps mutating while there's a little bit of backspin on it. And again, the most uncomfortable walk or run I have ever seen. 5. So they're coming towards us. Unfortunately for the boulder, the tunnel seems too small. So it's just gonna sit there and sparkle. 6. This could be a different kind of movie because it's actually very ominous looking the way that thing just goes up. It's more like a pancake than a boulder. 7. So again, she looks injured or something. And that's okay because the boulder's not really coming after them. I like the little jacket on the bunny, but not much action. 8. Bigger rabbit man this time. Interesting how the boulder just pops out. I mean, there was a boulder and then another one. Also, that could be pretty scary if that's how things work down there. Scene 5, 1. So the AI never actually gave me a proper minecart. It's a different kind of creation each time. Many of them do not make sense. I put this one at number 1 because I like the way she's sitting. It's kind of cool. 2. So again, it seems like he's pushing, but that makes sense. Maybe they're going up a hill and he'll hop on later. The lighting effects in these can also be very cool because of the lanterns. So they're moving in and out of the light, and it still impresses me, even if it's just basic at this point. 3. So I'm not loving this one because he's way back there walking and she's doing something with her feet. But I guess we're trying. 4. They also kind of look like they need to paddle or something to make this thing move. And there's a little, I don't know what that thing at the top is. 5. Feels a little bit like they have speed, but there's absolutely no body to the thing, just 2 wheels. Makes no sense whatsoever. 6. So the sparks are interesting. I don't mind that. What about the Warthog man? Yeah, they didn't get it right this time. 7. This one is not so bad. It actually looks like something that could be real and functional. And I like the way the rabbit just sort of hops over at the end there. Also, there is something coming along behind them. 8. So it looks like they're being pursued. Definitely something is getting closer to them in the background. It makes sense. Both of them are on top of something. I don't know what she's doing. Maybe a little bit of meditation. Scene 6, 1. So actually with the rope bridge ones, a lot of the times you should just look at the location and just appreciate what it does. Because otherwise, yes, there will always be issues. 2. This one is at a slightly different angle and I appreciate that. The Wolfman's not on the bridge, but okay, maybe he can still hold on. And I like how far down we can see. It actually looks pretty ominous. Well, dangerous. 3. This one is quite different also, the way the bridge is on some rocks. The Wolfman chooses to do his own thing. 4. So a lot of the time, the placement of these bridges do not make sense. Like it doesn't cross a river, for example. It just stays above a river. That defeats the purpose of what a bridge is for, typically. 5. So big holes in this one, but I'm still showing it because it looks cool enough. Also, there's a bit of acting that I enjoy. She stops and looks at something. 6. This is okay for the most part, except for the warthog man that flies out of the side of the cliff. Yeah, actually, it's not great. So this time, actually, she didn't get a warthog man. That's totally Master Splinter. And I don't mind that. Look at the water underneath them this time. Serious water flow. 8. The placement of the bridge is just something that does not make sense. But all the way along the side, that little waterfalls, it's just very pretty, actually. This could be a movie. So this is also cool, the way she's looking ahead, like it's a whole new world. It's a little weird at the end, the way they move along. The rope moves with them. Scene 7, 1. So the journey has led them to the top of a temple. This one is just perfect. Everything on screen, the location, the background, the wolfman and his outfit. I like how the rope is coming from above them. That's pretty clever. The only problem is something with her legs. The way she just gets lower down into that area. 2. Now that is a gold key. The first time it actually looks like a real key. She is moving towards the hole, so that's a good indicator of what's going to happen. 3. Now this is an interesting one. It starts perfectly. Just camera moves in a little bit and then she starts moving by. Perfect lighting, perfect hair. And then that wolf dude turns into a dude. Now that might actually be part of the story. But obviously it's a blooper in my book. It's not something I asked for. 4. I like this one too. She really looks like she's thinking about something and slowly moving ahead with what they're going to do. The warthog man has the rope, so it looks fine. I like the sun on her hair at the end there. 5. This is not really what I wanted. It seems like they're on ground level. Instead of lowering her into some kind of an entrance, he's coming out. So it's not exactly what I hoped for. 6. This one is not photorealistic, so there's not much to say. Nowhere for her to go, and the warthog man is really not as described. 7. This is also a beautiful background location. The character is always friendly when it's a rabbit. Always looks like a children's movie. And I appreciate the difference. Everything is fine. He has the rope and they're having a little bit of a dialogue. 8. Again, massive smile from the character. I like the little leather jacket that the rabbit has. It looks like he's going to fall there. AI does not always think ahead. Scene 8, 1. So here they are. They made it into the cave. Usually there is water in the background. They gave a big smile, and I think I asked for a smile on some of them. And I think that's appropriate, given the entire chest of gold in front of them. What you will notice at some point is that when they touch and pick up the gold, it just completely morphs in their hands. 2. It's a bit weird looking into the camera like that. A lot of the time with the treasure chests, you will also notice that it doesn't make sense. The lids will never fit on a thing. This one's not so bad. I like the torches. For example, here, you see that that chest is not closing properly. There's a gold mask that just pops out of there, so it feels a little bit like the treasure chest is floating on air. 4. It's a little bit like they took the color out of this one. I like how the water drips down in the background. Everything is pretty cool in this one. The warthog man has a massive head, and that's a bit weird. 5. So this is not really in a cave. The starting position of the gold is a blooper. What I like about the Warthog Man is it looks like he has a bit of a Batman utility belt and armor on his forearms. Very random to give me that, but actually I find it very interesting. 6. So another one that's not photorealistic. The Warthog Man comes in walking on water, but for a children's cartoon it looks pretty cool. 7. So the bunny man has human arms, and I don't really appreciate this one. You can see now how the gold morphs when they pick it up. But the lighting in the background, it looks great. Looks like they came into that cave from above, or could have. 8. The bunny man is pretty cool in this one, but she does not seem photorealistic at all. Not much detail here in the background. I also made a bank robbery video. 8 scenes, 2 characters, 2 sidekicks. If you made it this far, maybe you'll enjoy it as well. Okay, bye.